All right, guys, we made it. The season finale of Reacher. Now, I'm going to jump right into the kind of synopsis portion, and then I'm going to give my overall thoughts. So stick around if you want to hear what I thought of the entire series and how it played out. I'd like to thank you guys for returning time and time again to listen to my episode-by-episode breakdown of this series. Really means a lot. The reception I'm getting has been fantastic. Everyone seems to love the series, and people seem to enjoy my reviews. So I will definitely keep doing them for the books and for the series going forward. All right, let's hop into it. So, the end of the last episode, we're left with Reacher walking into a trap. KJ, Teal, and Picard now have him and Finley at gunpoint. In typical action movie fashion, the bad guys reveal everything to the good guys, assuming that their words will never see the light of day. We find out that KJ was behind everything. He killed his own father, and he killed Reacher's brother. We find out that Hubble is not dead, but on the run. He's a loose end for the bad guys, so KJ sends Picard, holding Reacher at gunpoint, to go track down Hubble and bring him back. They promise to let Charlie Hubble and the kids live if Reacher follows through. So, Reacher flattens his own tire. When he and Picard get out of the car to change the tire, Reacher shoots him, changes the tire, and heads out to find Hubble. Now, it's kind of inconsequential, but he's not actually dead. He returns later in the episode, but it's, to no avail. It doesn't really matter. So Reacher tracks down Hubble because he is a ridiculously badass investigator. This, along with the fight scenes, are the best parts of the Reacher books, and the best part of this series as well. Reacher is so much more than the big guy who busts heads, and I think we saw that with the Tom Cruise films. But there was just an element missing, He's extremely intelligent. And the way he pieces together a mystery is fantastic to watch. And it rivals the action sequences. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to watch him think. So Reacher finds Hubble, fills him in. The bad guys have Charlie and the kids, Roscoe and Finley, and everyone will die if they don't do something about it. So Reacher and Hubble go to the police station, crash a car through it, free Finley, and then call in Nagley to help as well. That's right, Nagley. I'm saying it Nagley. I know they call her Neely in this series, but goddammit, her name is Nagley to me. Anyway, they all gear up by raiding the police armory. And I love these action sequences. Every great badass action movie has one of these gear up scenes, prepare for battle scenes. Fantastic. So they head to Kleiner's warehouse to get to work. And what they do is they set the place ablaze and then go in guns blazing. Sounds a little silly and maybe counterintuitive to set the place full of hostages on fire and then run inside. But hey, in this story, it works out just fine. Oh, quickly, I almost forgot this. I love when Finley is wearing just the wife beater and Jack says, "Damn, Finley, you're kind of jacked." Finley's like, "Really? You think so?" And just no. So deadpan. It's fantastic. Anyway, they go in, kick ass, rescue everyone, kill the bad guys. Last but not least, Reacher takes out KJ, and I'm so glad that he didn't struggle much with KJ like he did with Dawson. I'm glad it wasn't this I don't know, beat down, drug out, ridiculously long battle, because it just wouldn't be that way. I also love that they included the scene with Joe and Jack visiting, their dying mother. This is straight out of a book called The Enemy, which is a prequel that is literally, I think it's book 6 or 7, I think, in the series, when Jack is still in the army. And I love it being brought to life here. It makes total sense in the context of the story, and they did it a lot throughout the series, took bits and pieces from other novels and short stories that really show us, really explore the history of the Reacher brothers. And it's also awesome that we have all this lore and background to pull from. I'm so glad all these stories already exist, and the TV writers, they don't have to invent it. It's already there, and it's glorious that they're using it. So, in the end, Jack finally gets his piece of the pie, says goodbye to Finley and Roscoe, and heads down the road, just like the books. The final scene is Reacher hitting the highway with his thumb out. All right, guys. that does it for the walkthrough synopsis portion of this review. Now, I'd like to kind of share my overall thoughts on the series. This was a fantastic finale to a fantastic series and a wonderful adaptation of a story from maybe my favorite book series of all time. I loved it. Was it perfect? No. But damn near. Well, was it exactly like the books? Of course not. But damn, I'm not sure any book adaptation to film will ever be as close as this one. Was it the best action film or series I've ever seen? No. But in terms of adapting one of my favorite characters from book to film, they absolutely nailed it. I couldn't be happier with how this series turned out. One thing, though, that I was hoping to see, and it's a very small nitpick, and I guess they kind of did it, but not perfectly. It was the cash. In the warehouse part, right? When Reacher enters the warehouse, he's supposed to, in the book, he sees this ridiculous mountain of cash, like nothing he'd ever seen before. He's blown away by the insane size of this mountain of money. Now, in the series, there are a few silo-looking things with a lot of cash in them, but, I was hoping for something more like the mountain of money that the Joker burns in The Dark Knight, like that size of a mountain of money. But, oh well. I can let that one go considering, in terms of nailing the characters, atmosphere, and story, this series far exceeded my expectations. I still think my favorite episodes were probably episode 1, just seeing it all come to life and really feel like Reacher. And then probably episode 7, Reacher Said Nothing, for bringing to life, not perfectly and not exactly like the books, but in a fantastic fashion, that Hubble House action sequence. All right. Before I close this out, I want to say, for the record, that the Tom Cruise Jack Reacher films, wait for it, were not that bad. Not by a long shot. They're actually pretty damn good. And I think most Reacher book fans would probably agree it was never the movies themselves. It wasn't the story or the action or the adaptation to film that threw book fans off. It was Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise alone. And not his acting. He's a fantastic actor. And I think he nailed a lot of the mannerisms of Reacher. It was just the fact that a 5'6", 160-pound Tom Cruise was portraying a foreboding 6'5", 250-pound brute of a man. A fact that, in the source material, is paramount to the storytelling. Reacher's size matters. Also, for those of you that don't know this, Cruise was the executive producer on those films. He actually cast himself as Reacher. Now, I get it. Who among us doesn't put themselves in the lead character's roles or in the lead character's shoes when we're reading these stories? Reacher is an action hero. I totally understand wanting to be the person to bring him to life on screen given the opportunity. Unfortunately, though, that casting decision was the sole reason those films ended up missing the mark. I love watching Tom Cruise as Ethan Hawke in the Mission Impossible movies. I've seen every one of them. I'll continue to do so as long as he makes them. But I'm absolutely thrilled that Alan Ritchson is our new, and in my opinion, the definitive Jack Reacher going forward. Also, I've always thought Reacher would play much better as a series than a 2-hour film. Way too much to cram into a couple hours, and the books feel sort of episodic when reading them. You can usually break up the books into, pretty well-defined segments. So, yeah, I'm really glad we're finally getting 7-hour-long episodes instead of a 2-hour film to bring these books to life. Objectively, the Tom Cruise films were pretty damn good. Subjectively, it wasn't what book fans wanted. I still watch them. I still enjoy them. The films are good, but this series is Reacher. Now, I think from the feedback that I've seen, I'm definitely in the majority on this one. We as fans of the Reacher novels are relieved and delighted with this wonderful adaptation. I cannot wait for season 2. Now, here's my question for you. What should season 2 be? They've made it clear that they're adapting one book per season, so which book should they adapt for season 2? I mean, the natural choice is probably die trying, right? But the wonderful thing about the Jack Reacher novels is that, especially when adapting it to another format like film, a lot of these books are interchangeable for the most part. One book doesn't need to happen before or after another. You can insert it into Jack Reacher's life at just about any point. Now, there are some, like my favorites, 61 Hours, Worth Dying For, and A Wanted Man, that I feel like need to be told in sequence, like those 3 in a row. But other than that, and the prequel stories, which might actually work better as flashback sequences like they did in this one, other than those, they're pretty interchangeable. I will say, though, that if they decide to do any prequel stories of Jack's time in the military, they would need to do them early on so that Alan Ritchson still looks young enough to play a young Reacher. That being said, as good as some of the prequel books are, I'd be perfectly happy to not bring them to life on screen and just to go forward from Killing Floor and do present-day stories. But what do you guys think? What do you think? Do you want to see the prequels? Do you want to see Die Trying next? Which, like I said, it's the natural choice. It's the second book in the series. Or do you have a favorite story that you are dying to see adapted that maybe comes a little later in the series, but you want to make sure you get to see it play out on screen? So I guess it's kind of 2 questions. What's your favorite Jack Reacher story, and what do you think they should adapt next for the Reacher Amazon series? All right, guys, thank you for checking out my extensive Reacher coverage. If you haven't checked out my other episode breakdowns, please do so. And if you're new here, just know that I have tons of Jack Reacher content on the channel. Book stuff, TV series stuff, news concerning, Lee Child, Andrew Child, book releases, all kinds of stuff. So if you are a Reacher fan, it's a pretty good channel to subscribe to. It's not all that I talk about, but, I talk about it a lot. Otherwise, it's all entertainment and pop culture on this channel, so if you're into that, that's another reason to stick around. If you decide to subscribe, you decide to favorite or follow the podcast, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks.